The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike.
In
a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts, and year in, year out.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Remember,
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette.
Season after season, at market after market, independent tobacco experts, men who are right on the spot at the auctions, can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco. Fine tobacco that means real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
At 57, American.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we bring you...
Wait a minute, Donzie. Hold it. Jackson ain't here yet.
What?
Neither is Dennis or Livy.
Oh, my goodness, this is awful.
What do you mean, awful? The audience is going to get a break today. I've been waiting for a chance like this for months. Hit it, boys. 1, 2.
Let's go see my dear old mammy. She's frying eggs and broiling hammy, and that's what I like about the South. Now, up there you can make no mistake, where those nerves are never shaky.
Rochester.
Yes, sir.
Step on it, will you? Can't you make this car go any faster?
Boys, did you ever hear the story of the hare and the tortoise?
Yes.
Well, both of them just passed us.
What tough luck. Imagine going out to the garage and finding a flat tire. Not a bit of air in it. It was the new one, too.
It had to be the new one.
Huh?
The other three are filled with sand.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Rochester, why have you got the windshield wipers going? We have no windshield.
I know, but it keeps the steam from the radiator out of my face.
Oh.
Say, boss, I think we're making better time. I just caught up with the rabbit that passed us.
Rochester, don't be silly. There are no rabbits on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah. What's up, Doc?
Well, what do you know? I guess the warm weather brought them out. Gosh, it isn't bad enough I'm late. Mary and Dennis are waiting for us to pick them up.
Boss, you should be on the air right now.
I know. Turn on the radio and see what they're doing.
Okay.
Here comes old Bob with all the news, the box-back coat and the button shoes, but all paid up with his union dues, and that's what I like about the South.
Isn't that awful?
Here
Turn it
comes
off.
Roy down.
That song is enough to make a Yankee out of Senator Claghorn. Pull over at the corner, Rochester. This is where we're supposed to pick up Dennis. Mary. Oh, there's Dennis now.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Oh, hop in, Dennis. We're late.
I know. I was home listening to the radio, and Phil was singing That's What I Like About the South.
I know.
My mother said she wished a little bit of heaven would fall from out the sky and hit him right on the head.
Well, for once in my life, I agree with your mother.
She hates you, too.
All right. Come on, Rochester, let's go.
Oh, Jack.
Oh, hello, Mary. Hop in.
Jack, we've never been this late before. What happened?
Well, we were all ready to go to the studio. When we got to the garage, we found a flat tire. I really should have called for a taxi.
Call for a taxi? You wouldn't call for help if it had a meter on it.
First place, you read that line wrong.
I know.
Supposed to be you wouldn't call for help if it had a meter on it. I was even afraid of that today, this morning. What are you talking? I've taken you home from the studio in a cab many times.
Oh, stop bragging. It only cost 75 cents.
75 cents. The other night when I took you home, it cost me $3.50.
Well, it was your idea to go up on Mulholland Drive.
Well, don't let it go to your head, sister. I only took you up there to show you how beautiful the city looks with the lights on.
I know. When the fog rolled in, you wanted your money back.
Money back, money back. Stop making things up.
I went up to Mulholland Drive 3 nights in a row with my girl, and oh boy, did we have fun.
Why? What did you do, kid?
We went around peeking into new Studebakers.
Dennis.
One of them had 1,800 miles on it.
That must have been a thrilling evening you had there.
Say, Jack, we're so late. Do you think Don can hold the audience till we get there?
Phil is entertaining him. I wonder what he's doing now. Rochester, turn on the radio.
So listen to your boy whose hair is flaxen, loosen your tie and start relaxing. When Harris is here, who needs Jackson? 'Cause I'm what you like about the South.
Who needs Jackson? What a ham. Turn it off.
Let's go see my...
Rochester, you can park any place now. There's the studio up ahead.
Jack, why don't you spend 15 cents and put the car in the parking lot?
Because the streets belong to the people, and I'm a people. Rochester, what's the matter with you? You just passed a good parking place over there.
I know, but that's on our right, boss. This car only turns left.
Oh, yes, I forgot. The steering rod's broken.
Well, if this car won't turn to the right, how are we going to get back to Beverly Hills?
I got it all mapped out, Miss Livingston. We go straight to Pasadena, left to Bakersfield, left to Oxnard, then down the coast and home.
Oh, we'll get home all right. Once we get to Carthay Circle, we can head in any direction there. Now, keep your eyes open for a place to... Dennis, we're not on a parade. Stop sitting on top of the seat.
Huh?
And take that sign off your back.
Well, I want it there.
You don't need it. Everybody knows you've got 2 shows. Now, sit down on the... Whoop, whoop. There's a... Whoop, whoop.
What are you whoop-whooping about?
Rochester, there's a place to park right across the street.
Can't do it, boss. I'll have to make a U-turn.
Well, what's wrong with making a U-turn?
There's a $2 double charge.
There's a $2 cover charge for that. No cross. Boy, all I ask is one rehearsal. That's all I ask. Well, go ahead. Nobody's looking. Now, grab hold of your door, Mary, so it won't fly open.
The door's on your side.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, here we are. Uh-oh, is that a policeman?
It ain't Uncle Remus.
It's a cop, all right. Shut the motor off. Gee.
Well, what are you going to do, Jack?
Oh, I'll think of something.
Hey, you! What's the idea of making a U-turn in the middle of the block?
Eh?
I said, what's the idea of making a U-turn in the middle of the block? Don't you know it's against the law?
Well, I'll tell you, officer, I don't get to the city very often, so I don't know much about your newfangled laws you got here.
What a performance.
Ezra, be quiet. You see, officer, I live out Sherman Oaks way, and I just drove my old lady and my boy in to see the big city. Patooey. Ain't that right, Miranda?
You're darn tootin'. Patooey.
Thank goodness we have no windshield. Officer, this is the missus.
Oh, glad to know you, ma'am. Now, look, old-timer, you got to obey the traffic laws while you're in the city.
Well, I'll tell you.
Get your gun, Pa. That man's a revenuer.
Well, officer, guess we'll mosey along. Thanks very much for your advice.
All right, old-timer, but don't let this happen again.
I won't. So long, officer.
So long.
Come on, Mo and Esri, let's take a look at this radio station, see what those programmies are like. And Zeke, you sit here and wait for it. Zeke, Zeke.
Oh, me?
Yes, you. Come on, Mary. The cop's gone now. Let's get into the studio. Dennis, hurry up.
Right behind you, Pa. Patooey.
Dennis, you're not a rube anymore. Put your shoes back on. 15 years on the radio, and it's the first time I've ever been late. Thank goodness we got here anyway.
She's got baked beans and candied yams, those sugar-cured Virginia hams.
All right,
Baked
Phil,
with
all
those
right.
berry
I'm here.
jams, and
I'm
that's
here.
what I like.
Phil, I'm here. You can stop.
What do you mean, stop, Jackson? I'm just getting warmed up.
Warmed up? You've been singing that thing for 20 minutes. I've been listening to you on the radio.
You've been listening to me?
Certainly.
Well, bless your little gray heart.
All right, Phil, you had your big day. Now go sit down.
Oh, Jack, what happened? How come you're so late?
Oh, it's a long story, Don. I had a flat tire, and then I got tied up in traffic, and Rochester didn't know what he was talking about. And right out here in front of the studio... Well, he was nervous. You know, a cop coming. You can blame him. You know. Then right out here in front of the studio, a cop tried to give me a ticket. I told him I was Jack Benny. He changed his mind fast. Didn't he, Mary?
Patooey.
Oh, stop that. Now, look, kids, the show is so mixed up, we'll have to start somewhere. So, Dennis, maybe you ought... Wait a minute. Phil.
What's the matter?
What are you, excuse the expression, musicians dressed like that for? Huh?
Oh, that. Well, a photographer's coming over to take some publicity shots, and I told the boys that if they look glamorous, they might get their pictures in Esquire.
Look, Phil, your boys will never get their pictures in Esquire. So you can tell Frankie to put down that white telephone and take off that low-cut sweatshirt. And tell him to cover up that tattoo on his chest.
Are you kidding? He gets paid for that.
I know, but it's such a ridiculous tattoo. This is the year of the yearling. What a slogan, the year of the yearling.
What about the slogan they had for your picture?
Mary.
This is the week of the weakling.
That shows how much you know. It didn't even run a week. Now, look, kids, before we start our play for tonight, I think Dennis... What's that?
Jack, there's a man in the third row with a gun.
Hey, mister, what's the idea?
Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to shoot myself, but I missed.
Well, what's wrong?
I'm a dentist, and my patient is driving me crazy.
Your patient?
Her name is Nora Prentice, and she won't open her mouth.
He must be crazy. A few minutes ago, he was a rabbit. Sing, Dennis. Go ahead.
How are things in Glockamora? Is that little brook still leaping there? Does it still run down to Donny Cove through Killy Bay, Kilkerry and Kildare? How are things in Glockamora? Is that willow tree still weeping there? Does that lassie with a twinkling eye come smiling by? And does she walk away sad and dreamy there, not to see me there? So I ask each weeping willow and each brook along the way, and each laugh that comes high.
That was How Are Things in Glockamora, sung by Dennis Day. And, Dennis, that was a cute little Irish number.
Not as cute as the one I took up on Mulholland Drive.
Well, has she got a friend?
Yes, but you wouldn't like him.
Oh. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our feature... Come in.
Pardon the intrusion, Mr. Benny, but could you do me, please, a favor?
Oh, why, certainly, Mr. Kitzel. Hello, what is it?
Well, I got 2 tickets to a radio program here at the NBC, and I don't know what studio it's in.
Oh, well, what program is it?
Edgar Borenstein.
Oh, Edgar Bergen. Edgar Bergen, yeah. He's in Studio A, right across the hall.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I know you like Edgar's show. That Charlie McCarthy is really funny.
Yes, and you look so natural, too. Almost like a human being.
That's right. Many people mistake Charlie for a little boy.
Yes, I know. Once when I was by his broadcast, I went up to him and I said, "Please, Mr. McCarthy, could I have your autograph?"
I bet you felt silly.
Who felt silly? He gave it to me.
Oh.
But you know, he's certainly comical, that Charlie McCarthy. And so is the other little dummy, Mortimer Schwartz.
That's Snurd.
Oh,
you by the way, Mr. Kitzel, I meant to thank you for the birthday card you sent me. It was very thoughtful, and it expressed such nice sentiment.
Yes, and I wrote that poem myself.
What was the poem, Mr. Kitzel?
Well, it went like this. To Mr. Benny. Today I hear you're 38, but I know you're 53. But if you're liking 38, that's okay by me.
Well, it was a very cute thought. Mr. Kitzel, in case you happen to pass my house during the next few days, drop in. I'll mix you a martini.
A martini?
Oh, you like martinis?
No.
Well, anyway, Mr. Kitzel, if you're around when I leave, I'll drive you home.
Yeah, well, thank you, but don't bother, Mr. Benny. You see, I got my own car, a new Studebaker.
You have?
Mm-hmm. It's got exactly 1,800 miles on it.
1,800? Dennis, that must have been the car you peeked into.
Dennis! Well, goodbye, Mr. Benny.
So long, Mr. Kitzel.
How are things in Glockamora?
Gee, he's a nice little guy. I'm sorry I forgot to invite him to my birthday party.
Oh, that reminds me, Jack. It's been a whole week now, and you never thanked me for the birthday present I sent you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. Thanks very much. It was a wonderful gift. I really appreciated it.
What'd you give him, Livy?
A check for $10.
Well, Mary, it wasn't the sentiment. It was the money. I mean, it wasn't the money. It was the check. I mean, the sentiment. Now, come on, kids. We have a sketch to do. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight...
Oh, Jack, before you start the sketch, don't you think we ought to do a commercial?
Just one fella. That's all I ask. One man read a line right. That's all I ask. 13 years he's been with me. What were you going to say, Don?
Well, I say, before you start the sketch, don't you think we ought to do a commercial?
A commercial? Well, to start me an original idea. Yes, Don, by all means, let's be daring. Let's be daring and do a commercial.
Okay, Jack. Quartet's ready.
The what?
The
quartet?
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute, Don, wait a minute. No quartet and no more singing. That's final.
But, Jack...
Look, Don, since we opened our season 22 weeks ago, the Sportsman Quartet has been driving me nuts. It isn't bad enough what they do to me in the studio. But 2 weeks ago, you brought them right out on the street, right out on the corner in front of NBC, in front of a crowd of people, and embarrassed me something awful. Imagine them singing a commercial and people throwing money. Pennies.
How much was it, Jack?
$4.67. Some smart Alec threw a slug. So, Don, let's not talk about it anymore. The quartet is through. They'll never sing for me again.
Jack, I know I've asked you many times to give these boys one more chance, and I'm going to ask again, but just this once.
Don, look,
And if you don't like it this time, you can fire them, and I give you my word of honor, I'll not interfere.
Well, All right, Don, if you really mean what you said, it's a deal. I'll give these boys one more chance. Remember, fellas, this is your last chance. Is that clear? All right, Don.
Okay, their number is humoresque. Take it, boys, and remember, your job depends on it. Go ahead.
L-S-L-S-M-F-T means fine tobacco, don't you see?
Not bad.
Yes, L-S-L-S-M-F-M-F-T, my darling.
Better.
If you wish to spell, it's merely T-F-M-S-L.
Backwards?
So round, so firm, so
It's not bad at all. Very good. Very good.
Back, pull me back, razzmatazz, with it, Joe. Rock it, you must
John.
sock it. A little bit of heaven is LSMFT. Ice, give me a piece of pipe.
John, look. No, John, that isn't what I want, John.
Prove it, light up a lucky.
John, that isn't what I want at all.
There is nothing quite like a lucky.
John, that isn't what I want. Wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute, fellas. That's not it at all.
We know, so we say it's so fast.
Wait a minute, fellas. Look, wait a minute. Wait a minute! All right, fellas, I've had enough. That was it. You had your chance, and you're through making a fool out of me. You're fired. Through. Now get out. Out. Well, at last I'm through with them. And Don, don't you open your mouth or you go with them. And now, ladies and gentlemen.
Jack,
What?
if you ask me, I think you're making a big mistake firing your quartet.
I didn't ask you. And now.
Livy's right, Jackson. Livy's right, Jackson. You should never have fired those guys.
Huh?
They're harmony. It's great.
Phil, when you're talking about pool, I'll take your word for it. When we're talking about bourbon, I'll bow to your superior judgment. Even if we're talking about new hairdos, I'll acquiesce. But when it comes to music and harmony, I'd rather take the word of Lassie's other pup. And now, ladies and gentlemen.
I think you're right, Mr. Benny.
You bet I'm right. I'm glad you're on my side, Dennis.
The other side wouldn't have me.
I will. And the quartet is fired, and that's settled. Now, let's get on with the play. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our feature attraction tonight. Oh, now what? Come in.
How do you do, folks? I'm the photographer from Downbeat Magazine. I'm here to take pictures of Phil Harris's band.
Wait a minute, mister. We're trying to do a program. Why are you taking pictures of Harris's orchestra?
Oh, they just won a popularity contest that was conducted by our magazine.
A contest?
Yes, we stopped 10 people on the street and asked them who their favorite band was.
Uh-huh.
And all 11 voted for Phil Harris.
You stopped 10 people and 11 of them voted for Phil?
One of them had 2 heads.
That I can believe.
Hey, wait a minute, Bub. Wait a minute. We ain't posing for just anybody. Are you a good photographer?
Oh, I'm one of the best in the business. I have some pictures here that I've taken of my children. Here, look at them.
No, look, we haven't time.
Oh, Jack, look at these pictures. Aren't they cute? How old is this little boy?
That's Irving. He's 7. And this little fellow is Julius. He's 5.
Well, how about this cute little girl, the smallest one on the end?
That's my wife. She's a midget.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. That is.
Oh, that's all right. Quite frequently, I get my wife mixed up with the children.
Really?
Yes, only this morning I fed her a bowl of pablum, threw over my shoulder, and burped her.
Oh.
I didn't realize she was my wife till her teeth dropped on the floor.
Her teeth?
Hey, what about taking the pictures? My boys are getting nervous.
All right, everybody smile now. Watch the birdie. 1, 2, 3, click. Got it.
Good, good. Now, if you don't mind, we'll get on with our show.
Just a minute. Before I leave, would you mind if I took a picture of your quartet?
My quartet? Why?
Just to keep for myself. I think they're wonderful.
Oh, you do, eh? Well, if you want a picture of my quartet, you can go outside and look for them. I just fired them.
You fired them?
Yes.
You fool, you!
What?
You mean old man!
I am not a mean old man, and get out. Nobody's going to come in here and tell me how to run my business.
But, Jack...
Wait a minute, Mary. Now, wait a minute. I've got something to say to you and everybody in the company, and you might as well hear it. I've been on the radio for 15 years. I've always had my own show. I've always run my own show. And I'm going to keep on running it. And you, Don, Dennis, or Phil, or nobody else in the world is going to tell me what to do. And that's final. Any questions?
Why do you wear those thick glasses?
Because they don't cost any more than the thin one. That's why. Now, let's get on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, darn it, the phone. Mary, answer it, please.
Okay. Hello? Yes? Yes, sir, he's right here.
Who is it, Mary?
Jack, it's Mr. Vincent Riggio, president of the American Tobacco Company.
Oh, my sponsor. Hello, Vince. Vincent? Oh, Mr. Riggio. Well, what can I do for you, Mr. Riggio? You've been listening to the show? Wasn't it great? Oh. I shouldn't have what? But I had to fire him. That quartet was the worst. You don't think so? Well, everybody's entitled to his own opinion. I mean, that's why they put rubber mats around cuspidors. What? I guess you're right. It didn't get a laugh here either. But about the quartet, Mr. Riggio, I felt that... I know, but Mr. Riggio, I know, but... Yes, but... You might be right, but... I know, but... Mr. Riggio. But, Mr.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first here's my good friend Basil Rysdale.
Tobacco auctioneer. Remember LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette.
Listen to the words of a man who's been an independent tobacco auctioneer for 21 years, Mr. Dewey H. Huffine of Reedsville, North Carolina. Mr. Huffine really knows tobacco, and here's what he said.
At thousands of tobacco auctions, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy mild, ripe, mellow tobacco that tastes good and smokes good. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 29 years.
Quote, at thousands of tobacco auctions, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy mild, ripe, mellow tobacco. Unquote. Remember, the independent tobacco experts like Mr. Huffine can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Yes, first, last, always.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
LSMFT.
No doubt about it. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco means real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
But, Mr. Riggio, well, all right, if you want a quartet, I'll have to think it over.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike.
At 59 American.
Fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette. And today, tomorrow, always.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, fine tobacco.
Year after year, at auction after auction, independent tobacco experts can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. No doubt about it. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
So for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
The Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, last week Jack Benny fired his quartet, the Sportsman. A few minutes later, his sponsor, Mr. Rehire, called from New York and insisted that Jack rehire the quartet. Jack stood his ground and, in no uncertain terms, said,
But I know, but Mr. Rehire, I had to fire them. I mean, that quartet was driving me. That quart.
Count me in, Jackson.
Quiet. Phil, I'm talking to my sponsor. But Mr. Rehire, if you knew what I went through with those boys, you'd... I know, but I...
Take back your rumba. Your samba.
Mary! Now, Mr. Rehire, I know how you feel about the quartet. I know you want them back. But I don't quite agree with you, so I'll have to think it over. What? I thought it over. Yes.
Look how white he is.
Well, all right, Mr. Rehire. I'll see what I can do. Yes, sir. Goodbye. Mr. Rehire thinks he can frighten me. He's mistaken.
He didn't frighten you, huh?
Of course not. I know my rights, Mary. I got a contract to work for Lucky Strike for 3 full years, and he can't tell me what to do about the quartet. I remember Clause 8 about picking talent.
Don't forget Clause 9 about picking tobacco.
What?
And you ain't gonna look so cute in that old straw hat, Buster.
Phil.
L-S-F-E Boone, L-S-F-E Boone.
Now look.
Yes, sir.
You bet.
Why, sure.
I've been smoking Lucky Strike for nigh on 3,000 years.
Damn it! Dennis. Now, wait a minute, Mary. Now, are you sure about that tobacco picking clause in my contract?
Well, certainly.
Hey, Jackson, don't you read a contract before you sign it?
Well, I usually do, but when we started dickering about salary, we got into an argument. My sponsor jumped out of his chair, and then he accidentally stepped on my glasses.
What do you mean accident? You were wearing them at the time.
Well, look, kids, I made up my mind not to take back that quartet. Hand me that phone. I'm going to call up my sponsor and tell him...
It's long distance.
Hand me that pen. I'm going to write my sponsor. And I'm going to tell him that I've been offered another job at twice this salary.
Oh, Jack, how can you say such a thing when it isn't true? And it's only 10 days after George Washington's birthday.
Gee, you're right, Mary. I mustn't tell a lie.
You know, Jackson, I had an experience once like George Washington.
Phil.
One day when I was a kid, I took an axe and cut down my father's favorite magnolia tree.
You mean cherry tree?
I'm from the South, son.
Oh, yeah.
When my father came home and saw the tree cut down, he took me by the hand, led me into the living room, stood me in front of George Washington's picture, and said, "Son, who chopped down that magnolia tree?" I said, "Father, I cannot tell a lie. I did." And he beat my brains out.
What?
So go be president.
Well, I'm going to tell the truth no matter what happens, and I'm still not going to rehire that quartet.
But, Jack, if you get fired, what'll happen to us? I'll have to go back to my old job.
Oh, don't worry, Mary. You'll still be working for me.
Holy smoke, do you own the May Company, too?
Well...
Gee, May Benny.
Oh, stop. Dennis. Now, stop. Now, cut it out. This is serious.
I'll say it is, Jack. If you lose your job, we don't work. And if we don't work, you don't eat.
I don't eat. Take the line, if we don't work, we don't eat. Don, you I'm not worried about. You could lose 20 pounds a day, live to be 108, and they'd still have to bury you in a Quonset hut. So go be president. I mean, go sit down. Now, Dennis, it's time for your song. Come on, let's have it.
Okay. My uncle lives in a Quonset hut.
He does?
Yeah.
All right, Dennis, your uncle lives in a Quonset hut. What's the joke?
No joke. I just thought you'd be interested.
Dennis, don't waste time with idle conversation. Now, let's have your song. His uncle lives in a Quonset hut.
I'm singing, then I'm sighing, then I'm flying. High above. You think I don't know why? Oh, but I do. I know that it's you I
That was Oh, But I Do, sung by Dennis Day. And now...
Now what?
I don't know, Mary. This quartet thing sure has me worried.
You didn't even compliment me on my song.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was very good.
Then why are you sorry?
Dennis, he didn't mean that. Jack's very upset.
This isn't the first time he forgot to compliment me.
What?
He hates me because my uncle lives in a Quonset hut.
Dennis, don't be silly. Nobody hates you. And, hey, wait a minute, Dennis. Wait a minute. Maybe you could help me.
Huh?
Well, you sing, and if you could get 3 other singers, I mean, we could form a quartet.
I have 2 brothers that sing.
Say, that makes 3. See, if you only had another brother.
Well, I could talk to my parents, but
I don't mean that. Anyway, I don't know. I've got to think of something.
You know, Jack, before I became an announcer, I was a singer.
I know, Don, but I need a quartet.
Quartet?
What are you laughing at?
If Don had a mouth over each one of his chins, you'd have the Hall Johnson Choir.
Mary, this is no time for jokes or remarks like that either. But maybe I could form a quartet out of my cast. Now, Mary, I know that you sing, and Dennis sings, and... Now, Phil, he's a very good singer, too.
That's my boss who said that.
So maybe we could...
Love that man.
Phil.
He said it, and I'm glad.
Look, Phil, this must lead into a routine. I haven't got time. So let's drop it. Now, look, the 4 of you can sing, so I'll have a quartet after all.
That's no good, Mr. Benny. You have to have a male quartet, and one of us is a girl.
Oh, yeah.
Guess which one?
I know, Dennis, I know. Believe me. Well, I'm sure of one thing. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize to the Sportsman, even if I do have to pick tobacco.
Don't you worry about it, Jackson. Philzy ain't gonna let that happen to you.
What?
I got my own show. You can come to work for me.
You know, I may have to at that. Say, Phil, if I did go on your show, what would you pay me?
The same thing you pay me.
Why, you no good, cheap, chiseling hand. Now, you crazy?
But, Jackson, money isn't everything. You said that yourself.
When?
When the blue of the night met the gold in your vault.
I didn't ask you. Anyway, Phil, I don't want to be on your show.
But, Jackson, look what you could learn just by sitting there and watching me.
Me? Learn from you?
Sure. My stuff is sharp. It's right up to the minute. Now, ask me something, Jackson. Ask me what happened to the kid who swallowed a live duck.
Phil, I'm not going
Come
into...
on, Jackson. Just once, ask me. Now, ask me what happened to the kid that swallowed a live duck.
Oh, all right, Phil. What happened to the kid that swallowed a live duck?
He felt a little down in the mouth. Oh, Harris, your head may come to a point, but nobody's getting stuck with it.
Phil, why don't you stick your head in a pencil sharpener and get a haircut? Now, Don, I think it's time for a commercial, so let's have it.
Oh, Jack, I can't do a commercial. My heart won't be in it without the Quartet.
Don Wilson. Twinkle Tummy. Don, you're supposed to do a commercial right here and now, and you're going to do it.
All right, but the way I feel, it won't sound right.
Oh, stop acting like a kid and do it.
Okay. LSMFT. Lucky Strikes are surrounds the firms, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. And they're made of that light, that fine, that naturally mild tobacco. And even though I love them, that's all I'm going to say. So there.
Don, stop pouting. Look at the way your lower lip sticks out.
What a place to open beer bottles.
You said it. Between Don, the Quartet, and the sponsor, I just soon quit radio and forget about the whole thing.
Well, Jack, if you're so disgusted, why don't you quit?
Look, Mary, if I got the right offer from pictures, I'd consider it, believe me. I'm sorry now I turned down that big part they offered me in the Jolson story.
Oh, some big part. When Jolson sang Mammy, you were supposed to run out and put a cushion under his knee.
Not the part I'm talking about. Mary, why don't you stop kidding when I'm so worried?
Well, Jack, if you're so worried about the Quartet, why don't you apologize to them and get them back?
Look, Mary, I can't humiliate myself that way. I have too much pride.
Well, you know what your sponsor said. If you don't get them back, you'll have no job, and no job means no salary.
Well, maybe you're right. I'll go find the Quartet and apologize.
Wait a minute, Jackson. What about your pride? Your dignity?
Let Ronald Coleman have dignity. I need a new suit. Now, come on, Mary, you go with me. Phil, you, Don, and Dennis can finish the program.
I can finish it myself.
You sure can. Come on, Mary. Come on.
All right.
You know, Mary, this is going to be a mighty hard thing for me to do, but you're right. It's the only way to...
Oh, Mr. Benny. Hey, Mr. Benny.
Jack, the doorman's calling you.
Oh. What is it, Pete?
Top of the morning to you, Mr. Benny. A telegram came for you while you were broadcasting, and I didn't want to be disturbing you.
That's all right. Hand me the telegram.
Oh, I say, old fellow, a message came for you while you were broadcasting over the wireless. I didn't want to interfere with your proceedings. Oh, pip, pip.
Look, will you please hand me the...
Senator Benny, for you came a telegram while you was broadcasting on the radio, I think, and I didn't want...
Stop auditioning and give me that telegram.
Yes, sir. Here.
Thanks. He hasn't got enough shows. He wants to be on mine, too. Mel Blanc. Mary, you read the telegram to me. I don't want my fans to see me with glasses on. Sort of destroys an illusion, you know.
Okay. Why, Jack, it's from Fred Allen.
Fred Allen?
Yeah, he says, Dear Jack, I heard you stand up for your rights and talk back to your sponsors, and I certainly admire your courage and integrity.
Well.
And, Jack, if you lose your job, don't worry, as here in New York, there's a splendid opening for you. All we have to do is lift up the manhole cover.
Well, isn't that nice? He wants me to live with him. Come on, Mary. The car is right out in front. There's Rochester waiting in the car. Hello, Rochester.
Well, hello, Mr. Benny. Hello, Miss Livingston.
Hello, Rochester.
Rochester, I want you to drive us to North Hollywood in a hurry. Mary, get in the car.
Just a minute, Jack.
What are you looking at?
That right front hubcap. Did that come with this car?
Oh, no, ma'am. That's off a 1947 Cadillac.
Really? Where'd you get it?
Well, yesterday, Mr. Benny and I were walking down the street.
Look.
A new Cadillac came around the corner real fast, hit the curb, the hubcap flew up in the air. Mr. Benny made a running catch, laddered it to me, and I took off like Buddy Young in the Rose Bowl.
Come on, Mary, get in the car.
Okay.
She's got backbones and butter beans, ham hocks and turnip greens. You and me in New Orleans, and that's what I like about the
Rochester,
South.
turn that
Did I
off.
tell you about the place called Do-What-Diddy? It ain't the South.
Mary, next time don't slam the door so hard. It turns on the radio. You know, I feel sorry for the South. First the boll weevils, now Phil Harris. I don't know which is the worst of the two weevils.
That was a good one, boss.
Oh, Rochester, do you really like that?
No, but tomorrow's payday, and I don't want to have another duel in the sun.
Now, come on, Rochester, start the car.
Yes.
Try it again, Rochester.
Okay.
Rochester, what's wrong with the motor?
Everything, including B.O.
Well, roll down the window and try it again. That's better. I threw a cough drop in the gas tank. Now, Rochester, drive us out to North Hollywood.
Yes, sir.
Rochester, did you hear my program?
No, boss, I was busy fixing the car.
Why, what happened?
When I wanted to turn on the radio, I slammed the door and the fender fell off.
Which fender?
The fender. The fender.
Oh, well, the next time you slam the door, be a little more... Rochester, what was that?
We just terminated our association with the Cadillac Motor Company.
Oh, my goodness, the hubcap.
Oh, Jack, when are you going to get rid of this car?
I don't know. I'm thinking of holding an auction at Santa Anita.
Why don't you get one of those new cars with a hydromatic drive? You know, the ones that have no clutch.
Oh, we're way ahead of them. We got no clutch, no brake, no nothing.
Rochester.
If Nora Prentice ever rode in this car, she'd say plenty.
Look, just keep driving, will you?
Say, Rochester, if this car has no brake, how do you stop it?
There's a hole in the floorboard, and I wear spiked shoes.
Well, better start dragging him. There's a red light.
Oh, Martha, Martha.
What is it, Emily?
There's Jack Benny again.
Oh, yes. My, but he's handsome. Every time I see him, my stockings begin to crawl.
Oh, Martha, you're acting like a silly girl.
Don't be such a prude, Emily. You'll have to admit that Mr. Benny is one of the most romantic men in Hollywood.
Well, maybe so, but I'm still loyal to Francis X. Bushman.
You know, Emily, 2 weeks ago was Mr. Benny's birthday, so I... Oh, no, Emily, you'll think I'm silly.
No, Martha, tell me.
I sent him a lock of my hair.
Oh, Martha, do you think he received it?
He must have. Look, he's wearing it. Oh, Emily, I think Mr. Benny is looking at us.
So he is.
Oh, darn it. I wish I'd worn my bare midriff.
Rochester, the lights change. You can go. Well, here we are, Mary. Gee, I hate to go in there and apologize to the quartet.
Oh, Jack, it's nothing. It'll all be over in a few minutes.
I know, but how can you talk to them? All they do is hum and sing.
Oh, come on. Let's get it over with.
All right, here's the door. Says the Sportsman.
Well, go ahead and ring the bell.
Okay.
Bong, 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 bong.
Hello, fellas. Come on, Mary, let's get out of here.
Jack, we're here already. Go through with it.
Oh, all right. Now, fellas, I came here to talk to you about your job. I want to tell you that I'm very sorry that I fired you last week. I know I was hasty, but...
Here we go again.
Mary, keep out of this. Now, look, fellas, I want you to come back to my show. How about it?
Sooner or later we knew you'd be coming around to get us. But to get us you must let us make much more dough.
More dough?
Sooner or later you'll pay us the money we want. We betcha. And we betcha that we get ya before you go.
But, fellas, I'm paying you a lot now. I mean, how much do you want?
Give us 500 more, only 500 more, and the contract you have and to hold.
But, fellas, you got a contract for 3 more weeks. How much longer do you want it to run?
Till the end of time, long as stars are in the blue, long as there's a spring and birds to sing, we'll go on singing just for you.
Well, I'm not going to give you a long contract, and that settles it.
Then thanks for the memory
of LSMFT, the smoke for you and me. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so easy on the dream.
Oh, thank you so much.
Look, fellas, why don't you listen to reason?
Thanks for the memory of shows we used to do, and they were all with you. But if you're such a dope, we'll work for Hope or Fitch and Fool. Oh, thank you so much.
Well, all right, if that's the way you feel about it. I've been in radio 15 years. I never had a quartet before, and I don't need one now. So good night.
Good night, sweetheart. We won't meet
now
tomorrow.
Cut that out. And goodbye. Come on, Mary. Well, Mary, I tried. I apologize, but did they listen? No. And I got to get them back. I don't know what to do. What'll I do?
What do they do on a rainy night in Rio?
Quiet. I'll think of some way to get them back. Ladies and gentlemen, as a result of the last war, no country entered peacetime reconstruction and rehabilitation with scantier resources than Greece. Here is another opportunity to share our blessings with our suffering neighbors overseas. The present drive on behalf of the Greek War Relief Association, a non-profit organization, is under the chairmanship of Herbert Hoover and includes men and women of every nation and creed. To give aid, contact your local Greek War Relief Association or the Greek War Relief Association, New York 19, New York. Thank you.
Jack will be back in just a minute. But first, here is my good friend Basil Rysdale.
As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember, LSMFT.
American.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
When it comes to tobacco, Mr. Sidney Curran of Oxford, North Carolina, speaks with authority because for 25 years he's been an independent tobacco expert. Here's what he said.
At auction after auction, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy tobacco that's got real quality. Good, fine tobacco that smokes up mild, cool, and fragrant. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 26 years.
Independent tobacco experts like Mr. Curran are right on the spot at the auctions, where they can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco. Remember,
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, year in, year out.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
I'm sorry, Mr. Riggio, but I did all I could. I went to the Quartet and I apologized to them. Now, just a minute, Mr. Riggio. I've listened to you long enough. Now, you listen to me. If they want to come back, they can come back. And if they don't want it, it's all right with me. And that settles it. Goodbye. How does that sound, Mary?
Fine. Now let's get to a telephone and call them up.
Tomorrow, Mary, tomorrow. Good night, folks.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike.
In a
cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. First, last, always.
LSMFT.
Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Friends, it's only common sense that fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette. And season after season, independent tobacco experts, men who spend their lives buying, selling, and handling tobacco, can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco. Fine tobacco that means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
At 59, American.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go out to Jack Benny's home in Beverly Hills, where even as you and I, Rochester is filling out his income tax.
Let's see. Name, Rochester Van Jones. Occupation, butler, chauffeur, cook, gardener, valet, masseur, window washer, and author of What to Do in Your Spare Time. Now, let's see. Exemptions. If married and your wife or husband had no income, or if this is a joint return of husband and wife, list wife or husband. I better read that again. If married and your wife or husband had no income, or if this is a joint return of husband and wife, list wife or husband. Yep, that's what it says. That's what the form says. Uncle Sam said that. Well, fortunately, I'm single and have no wife or husband. Now, let's see. Enter your total wages.
Oh, hello, Rochester. What are you doing?
I'm filling out my income tax, Mr. Benny. It certainly is complicated.
I'll help you out if you like.
I sure would.
All right, let's see the form. Oh, Rochester, look at all the occupations you listed. You don't work that hard.
Don't, eh?
No.
I got housemaid's knee clear up to the hip.
What?
And at that point, middle-aged spread takes over.
Rochester, if you want me to help you, pay attention. Now, let's see. Your income. What was your income last year?
I don't want to tell him what my salary is.
Why not?
Boss, you pay it to me, and I'm even ashamed to tell you.
Rochester, you've got to put down your salary.
Can I write it in red ink?
Red ink, why?
I want him to know I'm blushing.
Never mind. Now for the next question. List any extra monies you received as gratuities, gifts, or bonuses from your employer.
Oh, boss, come now.
Well, let's get on to business expenses. How much did you spend last year?
Well, let's see. There was $70 for uniforms,
Uh-huh.
$20 for a lawyer,
Yes.
and $50 for advice in preparing last year's income tax.
I thought I only charged you 40. But you're lucky it was 50. It gives you a bigger deduction, you see. Now we come to dependents. For every close relative you support, you can deduct $400 from your income tax.
Well, let's see. There's my mother.
Rochester, I didn't know you supported your mother.
Oh, yes, that sweet little old lady I take for a drive every Saturday night.
Your mother? I happen to know that every Saturday night you take my car and go up on Mulholland Drive.
M is for the million thing.
Rochester! Now, don't give me that stuff about your mother. Last Saturday night I followed you, and I distinctly heard you mention Lena Horne.
I said, Mother, don't lean on the horn.
Oh, sure. Now, Rochester, after you sign this, all you have to do is... I'll get it.
Hello, Jack.
Well, hello, Mary. I wasn't expecting you. Come on in.
Jack, it was such a beautiful day. I thought we might go for a walk.
Yeah, let's do that. I feel like going out today. In fact, if you hadn't come along, I was going to call up my girlfriend, Gladys Zabisco, and invite her out.
Oh, is Gladys still around?
Certainly. Why?
I thought Louis B. Mayer auctioned her off last week.
Now, Mary, I don't like the way you're always picking on Gladys. She's got a nice figure. Did you ever see her in a bathing suit?
Yes, and she looks like Gary Cooper.
Only from a distance. So what if she is a little thin?
She's homely, too.
Now, wait a minute, Mary. Gladys may not be the most beautiful girl in the world. I mean, I won't even say that she's the most beautiful girl in the United States, or in Los Angeles, or in Beverly Hills, or in... You know, Mary, I think you got something there. Well, I'll get my coat and we'll go for a walk.
Okay, Jack, I'll sit here and read this letter I got from Mama.
Well, a letter from your mother, eh? What does the worst years of your father's life have to say?
I'll read it to you.
Go ahead.
My darling daughter, Mary, everything is fine at home, and the weather is getting to be real nice. We're pretty sure that winter is over now, because last month a groundhog came out of his hole, saw the sunshine, and went back in again to wake up Papa.
What?
Papa came out, saw me, and punched the groundhog right in the nose.
Oh, your mother just put that in for a laugh.
Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Even though it's nice now, 2 weeks ago, we had a severe blizzard, and when your Uncle Harry came in from the barn, his milking hand was frozen.
Gee.
I hope it thaws out soon, as I'd like to get the cow out of the house.
Mary! Mary, you mean to tell me...
Jack, please.
Oh.
Your sister Babe and I are going to the movies tonight and see a new picture. I heard that the picture's all about Jack and his violin. It's called The Beast with 5 Fingers. No other news. Love and kisses from your mother, the shocking Mrs. Livingston.
That's the silliest thing I ever listened to.
Oh, wait a minute. P.S. I think your Uncle Harry is thawing out, as I just heard a little squirt in the bucket.
Mary. Look, why doesn't your mother write a letter sometimes without... Oh, who can that be?
Say, Mr. Benny, I came over to ask you if it's all right to...
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello. I came over to ask you if it's all right to...
Hello, Dennis.
Hello. I came over to ask you if it's all right to...
How do you feel, kid?
Thanks. I came over to ask you if it's all right to...
Dennis, what happened to your face? It's all cut up.
I know. When I shaved today, I tried out a new blade.
Gee, the way you're cut up. What kind of a blade was it? Single-edged or double-edged?
Double-edged.
Gee. Well, maybe you didn't have it in the razor right.
Oh, razor!
Well, certainly. You're supposed to put the blade in the razor before you lather up.
Oh, lather.
Dennis, if you don't know how to work a safety razor, why don't you get an electric razor? I mean, that would be easy for you.
Well, I tried an electric razor, but that doesn't work either.
What do you mean it doesn't work? All you have to do is plug it in.
Oh!
Now cut that! Well, kid. With all the trouble you have, you're better off going to a barber. Anyway, you haven't got a very heavy beard.
I know. I take after my mother.
Yeah. Now, look, kid. Kid, what did you want to see me about?
Well, I wanted to ask you if it's all right for me to sing You Can't See the Sun When You're Crying on the program next Sunday.
Yeah, I guess it'll be all right. Let's hear your arrangement of it.
Okay.
We'll leave in a minute, Mary. Go ahead, kid.
The sun when you're crying, a tear can hide the brightest sky of blue. You can hear a song when you're suppose you made believe your eyes were cloudy window panes. I'm sure you'd clean them up to look for rainbows when it rains. You can see the sun when you're crying, so smile and let the sun shine through. Suppose you made believe your eyes were cloudy window panes. I'm sure you'd clean them up to look for rainbows when it rains. You can see the sun when you're crying, so smile and let the sun shine through.
That was very good, Dennis. In fact, it's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. And I thought the way you... Who came in?
Dennis went out.
Well, why didn't he say goodbye or something?
Maybe you're not paying him enough.
Could be. Well, come on, Mary. Let's go for a walk. Wait a minute.
Hello?
Hello, Jack. This is Don.
Oh, what is it, Don?
Well, Jack, this quartet situation is pretty serious, and I think...
Don, I don't want to talk about the quartet anymore.
But I just got a special delivery letter.
I don't care if you got it.
It's from the sponsor.
Oh, sponsor. What does he say?
He says, Dear Mr. Wilson, unless Jack Benny has a quartet on his program immediately, next Sunday's show will open as follows. The Lucky Strike program starring Al Pierce.
Al Pierce?
With Tony Romano, Marjorie Main, Spike Jones, Stephen Fetchit, and yours truly, Harry Von Zell.
What?
LSSOS, LSSOS.
Harry, Don, do you think the sponsor is really serious?
I'll say he's serious. This letter is written on a Lucky Strike tobacco leaf.
Gee, he used his personal stationery. Well, I'll see what I can do about it, Don. Goodbye.
So long, Jack.
Come on, Mary, let's go.
Okay.
You know, Mary, this quartet situation is a lot more serious than I thought.
It certainly is.
Starring Al Pierce. You know, he's pretty good. He only made one mistake.
What was that?
He used to go on the air every week and say, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope. And what happened? Hope became a star. I wonder what's the best thing that... Who's that?
Hey, Jackson. Hey, Jackson, come here a minute.
It's Phil.
Oh, yes. Hey, Phil. Phil, where'd you get that trailer?
Huh?
That trailer you're pulling. Where'd you get it?
Holy smoke, it's hooked on.
What?
That's my garage.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I better wake up the maid. She lives upstairs.
Don't bother, Phil. She probably likes the ride. What are you doing around here, anyway?
Well, look, Don called me up this morning and told me you were in a lot of trouble with that sponsor about the quartet.
Phil, don't worry about it.
I ain't worried, Jackson. I'm thinking about you.
What?
I'm young and cute. I can get a million jobs.
You don't have to worry about me either. I can go back to pictures.
But, Jack, they talk in them now.
Oh, stop.
Now, look, Jackson, if you don't get a quartet, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, and you know it.
Well, yes, I guess so.
Why don't you go up to a talent agency and audition some singers?
I don't know who to go to.
Well, why don't you try my agent? He's terrific when it comes to picking talent. Look what he did for me.
Huh?
He fixed me up so I'll never have to do another day's work in my life.
No kidding. What did he get you?
Alice.
Phil, you mean to tell me your agent got Alice for you?
Sure, and when we get 10 kids, we have to give them one.
Well, Phil, with all your joking, maybe you got something. I'll go and see your agent about a quartet.
Okay, here's his card.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks a lot.
So long, Jackson. So long, Livy.
Come on, Mary. We'll go and see Phil's agent.
Here we are, Jack. Here's the talent agency.
Yeah, let's go in. Gee, there are a lot of people in here.
Jack, I think that's the agent sitting behind the desk.
I'll find out. Oh, Mister. Are you the man who handles the talent?
Yes, Nelson is the name. Low State Nelson.
Oh, well, this is Miss Livingston, and my name is Jack Benny.
Well, I'd have known you people anywhere. It certainly is an honor that you came here first.
Thank you.
Benny and Livingston.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a note of that. Auditions are Thursday, and don't forget to bring your piano player.
What? Look, I'm not here to audition. I'm trying to replace a quartet on my show.
Oh, yes, I've heard them. I've got a quartet here that can take their place, and nobody will know the difference.
Good.
They're right in the next room, the Seal Brothers.
Seal Brothers. Well, we can change the name.
Oh, no, you can't.
Why not?
Because they're seals.
What?
I'll get them for you. Okay, Seals, you're on.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, 4 seals.
There used to be 5. I gave my wife a coat for Christmas.
Look, I'm not interested in your wife, and you can send those seals back to their cages.
Okay, you can go back. He doesn't want you.
What are they mad about?
You broke up their gin rummy game.
Come on, Mary, let's get out of here.
Okay, but I've got another quartet for only $60.
I don't care if... $60?
Yeah.
Sit down, Mary. Let's hear them.
Hey, come on in, fellows.
They turn out to be gophers, there's going to be trouble here.
Look, Jack, he isn't kidding. It's a real quartet.
Yes, yeah. Mr. Nelson, what are the names of these 4 boys?
John, Charles, Irving, and Thomas.
What'd you put Irving in there for?
To keep from being sued.
Well, okay, Mr. Nelson, let's hear him.
I want a girl just like the girl that married dear old Dad. She was a pearl and the only girl that they had. So true. One who loves nobody else but you.
Look, Mr.
I want a girl just like the girl that married dear old Dad.
Well, how'd you like them, Mr. Benny?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Their voices are beautiful. They sing like larks.
And the fat one looks like a bald eagle.
Look, Mr. Nelson, these fellas may be all right for some things, but I've got to have a quartet that can do the commercials for my Lucky Strike program.
Oh, they can do that.
They can?
Of course. Listen to this. Go ahead, boys.
I want a girl just like the girl that married Effie Boone.
Effie Boone?
Like a Lucky Strike, she's the one I like with her. I'd like to spoon and
No, boys, look, that's not what I want, fellas. Look, Mr. Nelson. No, fellas, that's not it. Look at boys. Not that. Not that.
Why'd you stop them? What's wrong?
Well, they're not exactly what I want.
Well, very well. All right, boys, you can go.
Come on, Mary. I'm sorry I bothered you, Mr. Nelson.
Oh, don't go away, Mr. Benny. I'm sure we have something that would... Excuse me. Hello, Nelson Talent Agency. Mr. Nelson left town. What's your complaint? No complaint? This is Nelson speaking. Yes, we have talent for every occasion. For a wedding, you need what? A violinist. You're willing to pay how much? $6? And dinner? I'll look in my book and see. Violinist. No, I'm sorry. We don't have any violinists available.
Oh, Mr. Nelson, don't hang up yet.
Jack!
Quiet, Mary.
Yeah, what is it, Mr. Benny?
Ask them what they're having for dinner.
It's too late now. They hung up.
Oh. Now, Mr. Nelson, I think I'll run along.
Now, wait a minute. You came in here for a quartet, and I'm going to get you
But
one.
I didn't like those 4 fellas you had out
All
here.
right, so you didn't like them. I have other talent, you know. Hey, girls, come out here.
Girls?
Yes, their names are Maxine, Patty, Laverne, and Irving.
Irving again?
No, Irving Schwartz.
Now, look.
Take it, girls.
Kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time. So very long. Have a voice, it's been remember when it's been a long, long time. You never know how many things I think about you.
No, girls. No, that's not what I want either, Mr. Nelson. Look, that's not what I want either. Stop, girls. Look, Mr. Nelson. Stop!
Mr. Benny, why did you stop them? They're wonderful.
But they're not what I had in mind. Mary, what do you think?
I like the seals.
Mary.
Would you like to interview them?
Well, all right. Now, girls, are the 4 of you sisters?
I am. I don't know about the other 3.
Well, I have to be very particular about my show. Where did you girls work last?
Oh, our last job was in San Francisco. We worked on the top of the mark.
Well, that's pretty good. How long did you work on the top of the mark?
2 months.
Why did you leave?
We finished painting the roof.
Oh, I see. Well, look, Mr. Nelson, I'm sure I can't find the kind of a quartet I want here, so I think we ought...
Hey, just a moment. The Nelson Talent Agency. What? Oh, yes, just a minute. Fido. Fido. Fido, you want it on the phone.
Look, Mary, it's a dog.
Yes, and one of the smartest talking dogs in the country.
A talking dog? I don't believe it.
I'll show you. Here he comes now. Fido, how old are you? Fido, how old are you? Fido, say something. I don't know what to do with him. He's been acting like this ever since he saw Nora Prentice.
Some talking dog.
Fido, if you don't talk when we have dinner tonight, I won't let you bury your bone in my mashed potatoes. Now, come on. How old are you?
I'm 7 years old.
Gee, he can spell, too. Now, Fido, spell cat.
K-A-T.
7 years old, he can't spell cat. What a dope. Now, look, Mr. Nelson, I didn't come here to get any trick vaudeville acts. All I want is a quartet, and you haven't got one that suits me, so I'm going.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Benny. I've got another quartet that is positively sensational.
Look.
They're Russian.
A Russian quartet?
Yes, I'll call them. Tovarovich, Ivanovich, Stepanovich, Baranovich, come here.
How can you tell which is which?
Mr. Nelson, look, I can't use a Russian quartet.
You haven't heard them yet.
But...
All right, boys.
Boys, I don't want to hear them talk. Look, I want to hear them sing. Boys! Now, Mr. Nelson, I don't want to hear them talk. Let's not waste time. If they're going to sing, let them sing.
Okay, come on, boys. 1, 2. 1, 2. One a bitch, two a bitch.
Why do they have to do that?
Lucky strike me.
Boy, don't cry. Look, fellas, you don't have to cry. Boys, you don't have to cry, really. You may get the job. That's not what I want. No, that's not what I want. Look, Mr. Nelson, wait a minute. Fellas, wait a minute. Come on. Wait a minute. Mr. Nelson, that won't do. Come on, Mary, let's get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, during the past week, over 1 million young people, as well as adults, have been observing National 4-H Club Week. 4-H clubs are made up of boys and girls who are agreed to learn to do by doing some phase of farming, homemaking, or constructive community activity. I, for one, am happy to salute the fine work of America's 4-H clubs and urge all boys and girls between 12, 10, and 21 to join, and all qualified adults to enroll as leaders in their locality for the continuation of national 4-H clubs. We'll all be back in just a moment, but first, here is my good friend, Basil Rysdale.
As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette.
Speaking of fine tobacco, here are the words of a man who really knows tobacco, Mr. Frank A. Brown of Stoneville, North Carolina. An independent tobacco warehouseman for 25 years, he said,
"Season after season, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy good, ripe tobacco. Tobacco you just can't beat for smoking quality. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 29 years.
Year after year, at market after market, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Brown can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Remember,
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
LSMFT.
No doubt about it. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And this fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Say, Don, where's Jack?
Well, Mary, he had to leave. He's on Phil Harris's show.
Gee, I didn't know he was going to work on Phil's show.
Yes, I heard them talking in the hall, and Phil offered him some money.
Oh, money. Good night, folks.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike.
At 59, American.
Fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette. And year in, year out.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
Season after season, at market after market, independent tobacco experts, men who really know tobacco, can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco.
And remember, this fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
American.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, last Thursday night, the Academy Awards were given out to a favored few. All the Hollywood celebrities gathered at the Shrine Auditorium to take their hats off to the winners. And so tonight, we bring you the man who had the hat check concession, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, Don, you shouldn't have introduced me as the man who had the hat check concession at the Academy Awards. I was master of ceremonies, too. And, Don, having the hat check concession certainly taught me a lot about those so-called big stars in pictures.
What do you mean, Jack?
You should see the tips they leave. Cary Grant, 15 cents. Clark Gable, 10 cents. Margaret O'Brien, a nickel. I felt like throwing it right back in her face. I couldn't believe it. I thought that, I never saw such small tips. I thought that tambourine I had on the counter would help a little, What? And Don, you know Rex Harrison?
Yes?
A shilling. How do you like that? He thought because it looks like an American quarter, I wouldn't notice it.
A shilling in this country? Well, what can you do with it?
Let the Owl Drugstore worry about that. I had breakfast there this morning. Anyway, Don, it was really a thrill seeing all those stars get those awards. Harold Russell, Ann Baxter, Frederick March, Olivia de Havilland, Ray Milland.
Ray Milland? Did he win something again this year?
No, he won an award last year. He just came back to get a new cork for it. Anyway, Don, the whole affair was really exciting.
Well, tell me, Jack, who else was there?
Well, there was Jane Wyman, Gregory Peck, Lionel Barrymore, Larry Parks, Dinah Shore, Hugo Carmichael.
Hugo Carmichael? Jack, you mean Hoagie Carmichael.
Don, if Hugo is good enough for Sam Goldwyn, it's good enough for me.
But, Jack...
Don, I know what I'm doing. I never worked for Goldwyn. I'm not going to louse up my chances. Anyway, Don, it was such a wonderful affair, I was proud that they picked me as master of ceremonies.
Well, Jack, I can understand you're being honored and thrilled. As a matter of fact, I, too, have something to be proud of.
Really? What, Don?
Well, this is Television Week, and they've asked me to appear on a television program.
You on television? Don, let me look at you, will you? Don, wait a minute. Turn around again, will you? No, it'll never work, Don. It'll never work. You can forget about television.
Why?
They'll never get a 60-inch beam on a 10-inch screen. Believe me.
Oh, Jack, I wish you wouldn't kid me about my size. I'm not so fat.
You're not, eh? How about the time you got stuck in the Hollywood Bowl? I remember. Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. Hello, Don.
Hello, Mary.
What are you talking about, fellas?
Oh, the Academy Awards, television, and Don's stomach. You can take your choice of subjects, you know.
Well, I picked television. And, Don, I read a wonderful poem about it.
A poem about television? Well, let's hear it.
Okay. Television is here to stay, and it won't be hard to sell it. Now you can hear and see Jack's show, and soon you'll be able to smell it.
Smell it, Mary. Don't talk about my show. Have you ever tuned into Fred Allen's program when the wind is from the east and your air conditioning is fighting a losing battle? It's enough to make you lose faith in your air wick.
Jack, I'm just teasing. If you want to know something, I went to the Academy Thursday, and I thought you were wonderful as Master of Ceremonies.
Well, thanks, Dollface. Thank you.
But I still had a feeling that when they're giving out the awards, you thought the committee was unfair.
I thought the committee was unfair? What gave you that impression?
You were the only one on the stage with a picket sign.
I wasn't picketing. The sign said, "Keep your eye on your own hat and coat. I'm on the stage now." And I wasn't a bit jealous. When Olivia de Havilland won her award, I walked right over to her, slapped her on the back, and said, "Congratulations."
What are you laughing at, Mary?
Then Olivia slapped Jack on the back. His toupee slipped down over his eyes, and Jack whispered, "Kiss me, honey, the lights went out."
That was a long speech, and you got it out. But that could happen. I'm always worried about those long speeches. But that could happen to anyone, really.
Oh, but seriously, Jack, I thought you looked wonderful up there on the stage. And that good-looking tuxedo. Where'd you rent it?
I didn't rent that tuxedo.
I know you didn't buy it. Now, come on, where'd you get it?
Mary, let's drop the subject. By the way, where were you sitting?
Oh, about the 10th row. And, Jack, you'll never guess who was sitting right in front of me.
Who?
Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
Ronald Coleman was there? What was he wearing?
A tuxedo.
Well, you beat me to that joke. He must have two of them.
Jack, you
Mary, we made a deal. Ronnie loaned me his tuxedo, and I returned his lawnmower. Now, what's the use of being neighbors?
Hello, Mr. Benny. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Dennis.
I'm sorry I'm late, Mr. Benny, but I had trouble with my new car.
Well, Dennis, I didn't know you had a car.
Yeah, it's my first one. When I drove down to the studio, I had to go around the block 86 times before I ran out of gas and the car stopped.
Well, that's the silliest thing. Dennis, when you want to stop a car, all you have to do is step on the brakes.
Oh, brakes.
Now, don't start that again. And now that you're here, let's have your song. What's it going to be?
Well, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, so I thought I'd like to sing Johnny God.
Well, and sure, and I'd be disappointed if you didn't. Go ahead.
seems like only yesterday I left the port of Cork, and on a ship from old Erin's Isle I landed in New York. Without a friend to meet me there and a stranger on the shore, I wore an honest Irish heart and fortune came galore. So here I am going back to dear old Erin's Isle. The friends, they'll meet me on the pier and they'll greet me with a smile. There are faces there that I'll surely forget, for I was so long away. Oh, my mother will introduce them all, and this to me will say, shake hands at your Uncle Mike, me boy, shake hands at your sister Kate. Here is the girl you used to swing down on the garden gate. Shake hands with all the neighbors and kiss the colleens all. Oh, you're as welcome as the flowers they made to dear old Donegal. They'll give a party when I get back, and they'll come from near and far. They'll line the road for miles and miles with Irish jaunting cars. The spirits are flowing, we'll all be gay, and we'll fill our hearts with joy. The piper will play an Irish reel to greet the Yankee boy. Oh, what a party we'll have there! I'm telling you, you'll never see the like of it. Oh, tomorrow off to the church I'll go, and wedded I will be to my pretty little Colleen Bond, sweet Nellie McGee. Oh, Nellie was true and faithful to her Ginny or the sea. We'll join the harp and jamrock to the stars of liberty. They'll come Brannigan, Flanagan, Milligan, Gilligan, Duffy, McCuffy, Malacca, Mahone, Rafferty, Lafferty, Donnelly, Connolly, Dolly, O'Doly, Muldowney, Malone, Madigan, Cadigan, Lanahan, Flanahan, Fagan, O'Hagan, O'Houlihan, Flynn, Shanahan, Lanahan, Ogety, Fogarty, Kelly, O'Kelly, O'Benny, McGinn. Then I'll shake the hand of my Uncle Mike, the hand of me sister Kate. Oh, I'll hug and squeeze as much as I please the girl in the garden gate. I'll invite all the neighbors to me wedding great and small, and I'll live content and pay no rent in dear old Donegal. Yahoo!
Sung by Dennis Day. Very good, Dennis.
Oh, bless you, may your cows never go dry. You know, Mr. Benny,
What?
I sang that song for my mother.
You what?
I sang that song for my mother.
Oh, well, it certainly is an appropriate song. I don't know anyone more Irish than your mother.
Yeah, she wouldn't see the Jolson story till I told her it was the life of Pat O'Brien.
No.
And she liked that new picture about Jerome Kern.
Which one?
Till the McClouds roll by.
Till the McClouds roll by.
I bet his mother thinks NBC stands for Nolan, Brannigan, and Cassidy.
Well, as long as it keeps her happy, I guess it's
Hiya,
all.
Livy. Hello, kid. Sorry I'm late, Buster.
Well, Phil, look, it's about time you got here, you know.
Well, it wasn't my fault, Jackson, and I got a good excuse.
Yeah, I know. You're going to tell me that you overslept, jumped out of bed, dressed as fast as you could, and rushed over here.
Hey, how did you know?
You left a curler in your hair.
All right, so I got a curl in my hair. I overslept a little. I'm sorry I'm late, and let's forget it.
Forget it?
Unless you want to make something out of it.
No, I don't want to make anything out of it.
Phil, you must have gotten up on the wrong side of the bed.
Why?
You've got Alice's shoes on.
Yeah.
How do you like that? I told her 1,000 times, put them under the pillow, Blondie. Put them under the pillow.
Look, Phil, stop kidding. You wore Alice's shoes for a gag. You got your laugh. Now take them off.
What are you talking about, Jackson? We need that kind of laugh. Sight stuff. Television is here.
I know.
Ah, television. That's when I'll shine. When
Yeah.
people can hear and see Harris. Shangri-La with a ham hock.
Isn't that awful? You know, folks, he really thinks he's handsome. Phil, what makes you so egotistical?
I ain't egotistical. I'm much better looking than I think I am.
Oh, I see. So you're not conceited, eh?
Not me. In my family, Alice is the one who's conceited.
Alice?
Yeah, she thinks she's prettier than I am.
Why, the ingrate. After all the years, you let her support you. Do it. Now, Phil, Stardust Eyes. Narcissus Boy. Hey, Schlemiel.
What?
How about picking up your baton and making like you're leading a band? Then see if you can't. Who can that be? Come in. Yes?
Mr. Benny, My name is Lewis. On last Thursday night, the Motion Picture Academy of Arts and Sciences gave out their annual award.
Yes, that's right.
At that affair, you were the master of ceremonies, weren't you?
Yes. In fact, I was on the stage during the entire proceeding.
Oh, that's what I want to see you about. There's an Oscar missing.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Lewis. Does the Academy Award Committee think for 1 minute that a man in my position, a celebrity, a star for 15 years, a man who is respected by millions, would stoop so low as to steal an Oscar?
Yes.
Oh.
He borrowed the tuxedo, too.
Mary, please. Mr. Lewis, I consider that an insult, and I wish that you'd get out of here now. Now, go on, get out.
All right. But before I go, there's another matter I want to talk to you about. The Owl Drug Store.
Get out of here. That's gratitude for you. The Academy Committee calls me up, asks me to be master of ceremony, so I accept. What happens? Do I get any thanks? No. Do I get any salary? No. Just taxi fare and a lousy cheese sandwich. No butter.
Hey, Jackson, what about my band number?
Just a minute, Phil. We got to have a commercial first. Go ahead, Don. Let's have the commercial.
Well, Jack, I'm glad you finally got around to it.
What?
I've got a surprise for you.
Surprise? What is it?
Well, you had trouble getting a quartet. The sponsor insisted on having one, so I took things in my own hands.
Wait a minute, Don. You took things in your own little fat hands before. You got the Sportsman Quartet. They cost me $500 a week, and that's what caused all the trouble.
But, Jack, I got you another quartet, and it isn't going to cost you nearly as much.
I don't care if
Jack, give him a chance to talk. Maybe this new group will satisfy the sponsor and solve your whole problem.
Well, all right, Don. What did you do? I mean, who have you got?
Well, first of all, I only had to get 3 other fellas because you've already got Dennis, and you pay him anyway.
Well, now you're really thinking, Don. Where are the other 3 guys?
Oh, they'll be here any minute.
Okay, Don, I'll give them a chance. Who can tell? Maybe they'll... I'll get it. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
Hello, Rochester. What do you want?
I'm in a lot of trouble, boss. You shouldn't have asked me to bake a loaf of bread for dinner tonight.
Why? What happened?
Well, I took a small bowl and put in 2 cups of flour.
Uh-huh.
Then I put in a cake of yeast.
Uh-huh.
Then I added 1 cup of water and stirred it together.
Well?
It looked kind of dry, so I added more water.
I see.
Since I added more water, I threw in another cake of yeast.
Well, isn't that a lot of yeast?
That's what I thought, so I put in more water. More flour.
More
Flour, yeah.
More flour, I see.
That made it too dry, so then I added more water.
Rochester.
That made it too soggy, so I put in some more yeast.
More yeast?
So to balance the proportions, I added more flour.
Well, you balanced that one. You didn't let it drop, anyway. Huh?
Yeah, I balanced the proportions with more flour.
Flour?
That made it too dry, so I poured in a quart of champagne.
Champagne?
I had to do something to break the monotony.
Rochester, that's ridiculous, mixing champagne with flour, water, and yeast.
We got the only loaf of bread with a bun on it.
Now, stop being silly. You made this whole thing up, and you know it. I thought so. Now, come on, Rochester. What'd you really call me for?
You know that thing you brought home Thursday night that you woke me up to show it to me?
Yes?
Do I shine it with bronze polish or gold polish?
Don't bother shining it. I have to give it back. Goodbye.
Oh, say, boss.
Now what?
You rascal, you.
Never mind. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
He makes up the wildest things I've ever heard in my life. Now, Don, what about the quartet you say you've got? Dennis is here. Where are the other 3 fellows?
Well, Jack, they ought to be here any minute. In fact, here comes one now, Andy Russell.
Andy Russell? Andy, I can't believe this. I mean, do you want to be in my quartet?
Why, sure, Jack, if it'll help you out.
Gee, this is wonderful. Dennis, this is Andy.
Where's Amos?
It's not the Andy and Amos and Andy. This is Russell. Not that Russell. Now, Andy, I'm thrilled with having you in my quartet. But,
That's Portuguese. For how much money do you want?
Yes, Portuguese. I mean, how much money would you want?
Oh, $35 a week.
$35 a week?
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it.
Well, would 30 be all right?
No, I'm perfectly willing to pay $35. You must spend at least half of that for tooth powder. I mean, it must be wonderful to have such sparkling teeth.
Well, it has its drawbacks.
Huh?
Well, when I talk to Don Amici, we blind each other.
I can understand that. Well, anyway, Andy, as soon
Oh, hold it, Jack, hold it. Here comes another member of the quartet. Dick Hames.
Dick Hames! Dick, I haven't seen you since you were on my show 3 years ago.
Oh, I know, Jack. It's nice to be with you again.
Well, thanks. But tell me, Dick, why are you wearing those dark glasses?
Well, Andy Russell might smile, and I'm not taking any chances.
Oh, yes, the teeth. Mary, you remember Dick Hames, don't you?
Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Mary! Well, Dick, I'm certainly thrilled having you as a member of the quartet, but,
what? What's the matter, Dick? Can't you understand Portuguese?
Dick, what I'm trying to say is, well, if you're going to be in the quartet, how much money would you want?
$35 a week.
$35 a week?
Well, now, Jack, if you're going to start haggling, just forget about it.
No, I'm not haggling. I mean, I think you're worth every cent of it, you know? But, of course, I can't make
Hold it, Jack, hold it. Here comes another member of the quartet. Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby?
When the blue of the night meets the gold of the day, LSMF.
Bing Crosby, I can't get over it.
You were expecting maybe a transcription.
No, it's just that I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised to see you. By the way, Bing, how's Dixie?
Ask Senator Claghorn. Oh, Crosby, you shouldn't have wasted that one here, hoping to give you $2 for it.
Well, we needed that one. Now, Bing, believe me, I'd love to have you as one of my quartet, but,
$50. I understand Portuguese.
$50? Wait a minute, Bing. Andy Russell and Dick Hames are both willing to work for $35. Why do you want $50?
I got 4 kids.
Oh, yes, I read where you're going to put them in the movie.
Yeah, one of them is almost 9. He's been loafing around the house long enough.
Well, look, fellas, I know that you're all good singers individually, and Dennis has been with me a long time, but do you think you can all give me what I want as a quartet? Wait a minute, fella. If that's your idea of a quartet, you're starting off on the wrong foot.
Don't worry, Jack. Don't worry. They're just warming up. Now, do you want to hear what they prepared?
Of course. Now, let's see. 35 and 35 is 70, and 50 is 120. Not bad. All right, Don, let's see if they're let's see what they've got to offer.
Okay, fellas, let's have it.
I'll be loving you always with a love that's true, always, always. When the things you plan need a helping hand, I will understand, always, always. LSMFT, always.
Fellas, wait a minute.
That's the smoke for me. Oh, who the hell picked out the ski Dennis name? Not for just enough. Not for just a day. Not for just a year. But always.
Boys, that was very good, and the commercial was all right. But for my purposes, I got to have something a little more lively. Do you think you can do it?
Yes, sir.
You bet.
Why,
sure.
Yeah, I've been smoking Philcos for now to 20 years.
No, Bing, that's not what I mean.
Oh, Jack, Bing's right. Every time you sit down to listen to your radio, you're Autolite a lucky.
Auto-like. You had to get the plug in, huh? Now, come on, fella. I want to hear a livelier number. How about it?
Okay, take it, boys.
He always sings raggy music to the candle as he swings back and forward in the saddle on a horse.
Pretty good horse,
How the syncopated there's such a funny meter to the roar of his repeater. How they run, oh how they run when they hear the fellows gun, because the western folks all know he's a highfalutin, scootin', shooting son of a gun from Arizona. Ragtime cowboy, oh that cowboy, LSMFT, puff puff.
Now, fellas, the singing I can't complain about, but that time you didn't give me enough commercial and it was just a little bit too fast. I want something in between the two numbers that you sang.
Oh, we have another song, Jack, and it'll be just exactly what you like.
You have?
Hey, Dick, I'll sing bass this time.
No, I want to sing bass.
I think I ought to sing bass and get down where the money is.
Look, fellas, don't argue about it. Why don't you flip a coin for us?
I think the old man is right. Here, I got a coin. What do you say, Dick? Heads or tails?
Hey, Bing, where'd you get that funny-looking quarter?
I had lunch at the old drugstore.
Look, fellas, you're holding up the show. Now, this cost me $120. If you don't attend the business, I'll call the whole thing off. Now, come on, let me have your other song.
Yes, Mr. Benny.
Take it, boys.
Nothing could be finer than Goldsboro, Carolina in the morning. Don and Phil and Jack go out and pick that fine tobacco in the morning.
Round and firm and fully.
You left out a word.
Easy on the draw, it's jolly. It is the best tobacco that you have ever saw.
Bad English, fella.
Happy Boone and Speedy never looked the least
Not
bit
what I want,
seedy in
Don.
the morning. They're picking and they're planting while they're singing and they're chanting in the morning. LSMF, LSMF, MFFT. That's a lucky strike to smoke for me. Nothing could be finer than Goldsboro, Carolina in the morning.
No, fellas, that's not it.
If you
Look.
smoke a lucky, they will love you in Kentucky.
Wait a minute, boys. That's not what I want. Look, fellas, that's Don.
Now give me a lucky strike, one for Pat and one for Mike.
No, wait a minute. That's not what I want. Fellas, wait a minute. Look, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute! Now, look, fellas, you tried, you meant well, and believe me, I appreciate it. But you boys just won't do.
What? How do you like that?
Now, you can leave your names, and maybe something will come out. So long, fellas.
Well, how do you like that? Crocodile.
There's no use talking. I just got to get my old quartet back.
Jack will be back in just a minute. First, here is Basil Rysdale. As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember, LSMFT.
At 57, American.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
Mr. Alexander G. Irvin of Reedsville, North Carolina, has been a tobacco warehouseman for 14 years. He really knows tobacco, so listen to what he said.
Facts are facts. And at the auctions for a good many seasons, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy good, ripe, mellow tobacco. The kind of fine tobacco that you just can't beat for real smoking quality. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 14 years.
Remember, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Irvin can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. No doubt about it.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco means real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
I want to thank Bing Crosby, Dick Hames, and Andy Russell for being with us tonight. It was very nice of
Hey,
them.
Jackson, just a minute.
What is it, Bing?
Weekly Variety, which is the outstanding newspaper of the entertainment world, has given you an award for your 15 years in radio. They feel that your weekly clam bakes on the air have been consistently right in the groove for, these many years, and I agree with them. Congratulations.
Well, thanks, Bing. Thanks very much. On behalf of my cast and writers who have been with me so long, I want to thank the Variety for this honor. And say, Bing, it was nice of you to make this presentation to me, but I wish you'd do me a favor.
Sure, Jack. Anything. What is it?
After all, we got a classy program. The next time you come over, tuck your shirt in, will you? I mean, those palm trees waving around upset me. They really... Good night, folks.
The National Broadcasting Company.
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. In a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, fine tobacco.
Season after season, at auction after auction, independent tobacco experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. No doubt about it. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette.
So for your own real deep-down smoking enjoyment, smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
At 57, American.
The Lucky Strike program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, 4 weeks ago, Jack Benny got into trouble with his sponsor because he fired his quartet. Despite the fact that Jack auditioned several singing groups, he could find no suitable replacement. So now we find Jack at home, where he has just started to type a letter to his old quartet, the Sportsman.
Gentlemen. Now, that sounds too businesslike to start off with. Let's see. Dear Sirs. No, that's still too formal. I've got it. My darling sportsman. That's it, yeah. My darling sportsman. Now, that's a little too personal. I'll knock out the my. Now, let's see. Fellows, I hope you will receive this letter in the spirit in which it is sent, because... Whoops! Oh, silly me, it's only us. I am willing to let bygones be bygones. I know that you boys want more money, but... Gee, I even do it on the typewriter. Let's see. I know you want more money, but that can be discussed later. I realize that apologies at this point would be superfluous. Superfluous. S-U-P-U... No, that doesn't look right. Oh, Rochester, how do you spell superfluous?
Superfluous.
Thank you. Would be superfluous, but I'm sure we can iron out any discrepancies. Rochester, how do you spell discrepancies?
Discrepancies.
Thank you. Iron out any discrepancies that may come up. Yours sincerely, Jack Benny.
B-E-N-N.
I know how to spell that. Rochester, do you think this letter will do any good?
I don't think so, boss. They wouldn't even talk to you when you went to see them.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, this letter isn't right. I'll throw it away. Rochester!
What's the matter, boss? What happened?
I had my tongue caught in the roller. It hurts.
Let me see.
You
spelled superfluous wrong after all.
Never mind. Gee, Rochester, I don't know what to do about a quartet.
Well, boss, I thought the quartet you had last Sunday was pretty good.
Yeah, each one of them is a great soloist. Dennis Day, Andy Russell, Dick Hames, Bing Crosby. But I know, but when you put them together, what have you got? Personally, I'd rather have Hugo Carmichael.
You know, boss, if you need any help, I can sing a little bit like Mr. Crosby myself.
You?
When the blue of the night meets the gold of the day, ba-ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-ba-boo.
Rochester, if you think you sing like Bing Crosby, then I play the violin like Yasha Heifetz.
Oh, you do, boss, you do!
Thanks.
Excuse me, there's someone at the door, Yasha.
I'll get it, Bing. You put the typewriter away.
Hello, Jack.
Oh, hello, Mary. I was expecting you earlier.
Well, I would have been here sooner, but I was working out in the garden all morning.
You were? How are the flowers coming?
Fine, only I shouldn't have bought the seeds at the corner of Hollywood and Vine.
Why not?
I was wearing a sunsuit, and the snapdragons kept snapping at me.
I don't blame them, Livy. You've got better stems than they have. Oh, Jackson, it's only the second day of spring, and you're in full bloom already.
Jack. Jack, why must you always go along with a gag?
Because I feel good. But, Mary, it doesn't seem possible the flowers in your garden are up already. You only planted them a few weeks ago.
I know, but I scattered plenty of Vigoro around. That stuff really makes things grow.
It does? Vigoro, huh? Say, I wonder if...
No, and anyway, it would look messy on your head.
I wasn't thinking of that. But you know, Mary, I like gardening and flowers and growing things. You know, in fact, I saw a preview of a picture the other night, The Egg and I. It was wonderful. Claudette Colbert is married to Fred McMurray, and they live on a little farm where it's quiet and peaceful. And they raise their own chickens and eggs, and grow their own food and everything.
Gee, I wish I had that.
A farm?
No, Fred McMurray.
Well, I can see you're not the type that's interested in farming. Now, look at me. In my garden, I raise carrots, peas, lettuce, all kinds of useful things.
Well, Jack, I know it saves you a little money, but I think you're going too far.
What do you mean?
You even grow rice in the shallow end of your swimming pool.
I do not. Mary, if you keep talking like that, next fall when I pick my grapes, I won't let you help me make wine out of them.
Good. I had enough of that wine making last time. My feet were purple for 2 weeks.
All right. It stained my bathtub, too, you know. I'll get it, Bing.
Okay, Yasha.
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Come on in, kid.
Hello, Dennis.
Hello, Mary. I passed your house this morning, and I saw you working in the garden. Boy, that sunsuit you were wearing.
Dennis.
My mother has a sunsuit just like Mary's, only it's yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when she wears it, she looks like the Wilshire bus with lace bumpers.
Well, look, kid, Mary and I are leaving for the studio in a few minutes. Have you any idea what you're going to sing today?
Oh, sure.
Well, let me hear it first, and then we'll... Hey, Dennis. Yeah, I just noticed it. You've got a scratch on your nose. How'd you get it?
Well, I was riding down here on a bicycle built for two, and I ran into a telephone pole.
Well, how did that happen?
There was nobody on the front seat to steer it.
Well, Dennis, why didn't you sit in the front seat?
I've got 2 shows. Why should I drive?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Come on, kid. Let's have this
I'll close my eyes to everyone but you, and when I do, I'll see you standing there. I'll lock my heart to any other caress. I'll never say yes to a new love affair. I'll close my eyes to everything that's gay. If you're not there to share each lovely day, and through the years, those moments when we're apart, I'll close my eyes and see you with my heart. When you're away, I count each lonely day, and through the years, those moments when we're apart, I'll close my eyes and see you with my heart.
Yes, sir. Dennis? Dennis, that was a lovely song. I'm glad you're going to sing it on the program. You really... Dennis, what are you taking your shoes off for?
Isn't it time to make the wine?
No, not till after we pick the cotton.
Oh.
Lift that bale, tilt that bud. Well, come on, kids, we'll go to the studio. Huh?
Say, Mr. Benny, what are you going to do about a quartet?
I don't know. I want to get my old quartet, the Sportsman, back, but I don't know how to go about it.
Say, Jack, I've got an idea. Why don't you go over and talk to their manager? I bet he'll help you get the boys back.
Well, I say that might help at that. Rochester, get the car out. We're going into town. See you later, Dennis. Rochester, try the starter again.
Oh, Jack, we've been trying to start the car for 20 minutes. Let's take a cab.
Don't worry, Mary, it'll start. Rochester, try it again.
Yes, sir.
Step on the starter again, Rochester.
Yes, sir. It's not long for this world.
Rochester, maybe there's something wrong with the spark plug.
I don't think so. I cleaned them both this morning.
Oh, we'll try it once more. If it doesn't work this time, we'll take a cab.
Yes, sir.
It started. It started.
Off we go into the wild blue yonder.
Yes, sir. I knew it could do it.
Why don't you get a new car? I never heard a motor that carries on so much.
I know, Mary. It's a little mad at me since I made a join Afra. Rochester, take us to 1507 Benedict. Well, this is their manager's house, Mr. Stewart. I wish I'd sent my lawyer to sort of pave the way for me.
Pave the way?
Yeah, you know, talk to him first to see how he feels. Say, Mary, you can do that.
Oh, but Jack...
Go ahead, ring the bell. I'll hide behind the hedge.
Oh, okay.
Yes?
How do you do? My name is Mary Livingston, and I work for Jack Benny.
Oh. Well, go around to the back door. I'll give you a cup of coffee.
Can you spare 2 cups of coffee?
Certainly.
Come on out, Jack. I paved the way.
Very funny, very funny. Now, look, Mr. Stewart, I didn't come here only for coffee. I came here to talk to you about the quartet.
Well, come right inside and we'll talk it over.
Good, good. Come on, Mary.
Well, I'll wait in the car.
Okay, this won't take long. Now, Mr. Stewart, to show that my heart's in the right place, I'm willing to take the quartet back and not deduct anything for the 3 weeks they've been off.
Well, I have the new contract all prepared, and if you'll just sign it, everything will be fine.
Gladly, gladly. I'll sign right... Wait a minute. Look at this Clause 8. Why are these words scratched out?
Well, we made a slight change in the clause where it said they have to mow your lawn.
Slight change?
Now you have to mow their lawn.
Now, wait a minute. I was over to their place, and they live in an apartment. They don't even have a lawn.
I know, but they're going to buy a house in Beverly Hills where there'll be plenty of grass.
Well, how can those guys afford to buy a house in Beverly Hills?
Read Clause 9.
Let me see. I, Jack Benny, party of the first part, agree to pay to the party the second part $5,000 a week if I... $5,000? Look, if I pay them that much money, they'd have to be the stars of the show.
Read Clause 12.
Now, Mr. Stewart, I don't mind paying them a little more money, but this Clause 14 is ridiculous. I'm not going to do their laundry.
I don't know what you're so excited about. You've been doing it for months.
I've been doing the sportsman's laundry?
Well, certainly, didn't you know?
Mr. Stewart, I'm a busy man. When Rochester brings in the bundles, I don't ask them who they're from. If you stand around asking questions, your water gets cold. If you'll take out those ridiculous clauses and make the same deal we had before, I'll sign the contract.
Okay. Here's a pen.
All right. There you are. Now, where are the sportsmen?
Well, I don't know where I can locate them, but if I do, I'll send them to your studio.
Good. And thanks very much, Mr. Stewart. Okay, Rochester, here we are. Let us out right here. Come on, Mary. Rochester, you can go now, and on your way home, stop at the Automobile Club and get some maps. I'm going to drive to San Francisco next week.
You're going to take this car up to San Francisco?
Yes. What are you laughing at?
It'll be easier to bring San Francisco down here.
Just make sure those 2 spark plugs are working. I'll get there. Come on, Mary, let's get in the studio.
Jack, why are we going to San Francisco?
Well, we're going to do our broadcast next Sunday for the San Francisco-Oakland Newspaper Guild. I like San Francisco, Mary. The weather's so crisp, the scenery's so beautiful, and the Golden Gate.
Stop trembling. It's only painted that color.
No, but it's so nice to...
Hello, Mr. Benny. Pardon the intrusion.
Well, hello. Hello, Mr. Kitzel.
Oh, thank you.
What are you doing here at NBC?
Mr. Benny, I got to ask you a favor. Would it be too much trouble for you to handle these cards around to your friends? I'm in a new business now.
A new business? What is it?
It's called Ye Old Knick-Knack Nuke and Antique Shopping.
Ye Old Knick-Knack Nook?
Yes, and we have a slogan. Don't be a schnook. Take a look at Kitzel's Nook.
Well, that's kind of catchy. And you have antiques, too?
Have I got antiques? I got the original bed George Washington slept in it.
You have the bed George Washington slept in?
Yes, but you should excuse the chocolate on the pillow. Martha was a little careless.
Oh, well, that's really a valuable antique. Anyway, thanks for the cards, Mr. Kitzel. I'll give them to my friends, and someday I'll drop in myself.
Oh, wonderful. And remember, Mr. Benny, we sell everything. Tables, chairs, drapes, rugs, lamps, bookcases. And if you don't say what you want, we sell eyeglasses, too.
I'll remember that. By the way, Mr. Kitzel, I'm just going in to do my broadcast. Come on in with me. You can sit on the stage.
Oh, thank you. How do you do, Miss Livingstone?
Hello, Mr. Kitzel.
You like antiques, don't you?
Mr. Kitzel, there is nothing serious between Mr. Benny and myself.
Mary, don't be funny. Oh, my goodness, look at the clock. The program's already started. Let's hurry.
Hey, here's another one, Don. Ask me why fat men always wear suspenders.
Okay. Why do fat men always...
Hold it. I'm here now. You can sit down.
Sit down. Look, Buster, why did you stop me right when I was in the middle of a joke?
What?
I got the audience in the palm of my hand. I was telling gags and singing songs, and they love me. They love me.
Now, wait a minute, Phil.
Quiet. Don't call me Phil. They think I'm Al Jolson.
Al Jolson?
When April showers may come your way, yeah. They bring the flowers, those pretty little flowers. Mammy, can't you hear Joel say, boy,
Phil,
come on
Phil.
home. I'm coming home, Mammy.
Phil!
Mammy, don't stop me, Jackson. I got him rolling. It's downhill from here.
How do you like that? He was out all night, can't get up off his knees, and he thinks he's Jolson. All right, Phil. If you think you're such a great comedian, go ahead and tell that fat man joke I interrupted.
All right, thanks, Bub. Come on, Donzie. Ask me why a fat man always wears suspenders.
Okay, Phil. Why does a fat man always wear suspenders?
Because he's afraid his stomach will make his belt buckle.
Belt? Buckle?
You heard me. Those things on the side of your head ain't bookends.
I know, and Don, I'm surprised that you fell for a joke like that. You, of all people, should know why fat men wear suspenders.
Well, I don't wear suspenders or a belt either.
And what keeps your pants up?
The NBC censor. Oh, Wilson, you take up half the stage, but you're worth it.
What kind of a show is this? Phil is Al Jolson, Don is Phil Harris. Mary, who would you like to be?
Mrs. Fred McMurray.
Now cut that out. Seems the only sensible one around here is Dennis.
Just call me John Charles Thomas.
Well, it's my own fault for... Thank heaven, and I don't care who it is. Come in. Well, look who's here. My old quartet, the Sportsman. Boys, I can't tell you how happy I am to have you back. No, don't hum. I'll do the talking. And Mr. Stewart, you came with them.
Yes, Mr. Benny, I knew how anxious you were to have them again and to hear their glorious voices, so I spared no effort to find them today. Isn't that right, fellows? Oh, shut up.
You see, Mary, it's not only me, you see. Don, look, your children are back. Aren't you happy?
You bet I am, Jack, and I'm glad you feel the same way.
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Stewart, now that the boys are here, have they got a number?
They certainly have, and to celebrate their return, they want you all to join in.
All of us? Well, that's fine.
Come on, boys, let's have it.
Old Jack Benny had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm tobacco grew, E-I-E-I-O. With a big leaf here and a big leaf there, here a leaf, there a leaf, everywhere a big leaf. Old Jack Benny had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Old Jack Benny likes to smoke.
L-S-M-F-T.
Likes to smoke, and that's no joke.
L-S-M-F-T.
With a puff, puff here and a puff, puff there, here a puff, there a puff, everywhere a puff, puff.
Old Jack Benny likes to smoke. L-S-M-F-T.
There's one thing you must learn.
Take a tip from me.
It's so round and it's so firm.
L-S-M-F-T.
With a round here and a firm there. Here a round, there a firm. Everywhere a round firm.
That's one thing that you must learn. Take a tip from me.
Old Jack Benny loves to play
L-S-M-F-Tie.
on his fiddle night and day.
Ay-yi-yi-yi-yi.
With a squeak, squeak here and a squeak, squeak there. Here a squeak, there a squeak, everywhere a squeak, squeak.
Old Jack Benny always plays L-O-U-S-Y.
Jackson Benny is so cheap.
C-H-E-A-P.
Why, he won't spend a dime a week.
T-I-G-H-T.
With a no-tip here and a no-tip there. Here a no, there a no, everywhere a no-tip.
Old Jack Benny is so cheap. C-H-E-A-P.
Mr. Benny, how do you do?
H-E-L-L-O.
I can always laugh on you.
Ho-ho-ho-ho-ho.
With a hoo-hoo here and a hoo-hoo there. Here a hoo, there a hoo, everywhere a hoo-hoo.
Mr. Benny, how do you do? H-E-L-L-O.
Jackie Benny is so sweet.
Sweet as apple pie.
And he's a fella hard to beat.
B-E-N-N-Y.
With a blue eye here and a blue eye there.
With a hoo-hoo here and a hoo-hoo there.
With a no-tip here and a no-tip there.
With a squeak, squeak here and a squeak, squeak there.
With a round here and a firm there.
With a puff, puff here and a puff, puff there.
With a big leaf here and a big leaf there. Here a leaf, there a leaf, everywhere a big leaf. Old Jack Benny had a farm. L-S-M-F-T.
Fellas, that was absolutely wonderful. I'm glad you're back, and from now on, I'll let... Excuse me a minute. Hello?
Mr. Benny?
Yes?
Mr. Benny has a car.
T-R-A-S-H.
It's a car that won't go far.
C-R-A-S-H.
With a no clutch here and a no brake there. Here a nick, there a knock, everywhere a nick knock.
Rochester!
I'm not finished yet.
You are too, and goodbye. I like my car, I like my cast, I like my quartet, and Phil, I even like your lousy band. Let's hear 'em. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know, the American Red Cross is in the midst of one of its most important campaigns to continue helping our hospitalized fighting men and veterans both here and overseas, to say nothing of its many other services to our communities. Please give generously to your local Red Cross chapter. Thank you.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first, here's Basil Rysdale.
As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
Listen to the words of a man who really knows tobacco, Mr. Charles L. Belvin of Durham, North Carolina. He's been an independent tobacco buyer for 16 years, and he said,
"The makers of Lucky Strike buy good, ripe, mild tobacco. Season after season, I've seen them do it. And take my word for it, the fine tobacco makes one swell smoke. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 16 years.
Quote, the makers of Lucky Strike buy good, ripe, mild tobacco. Unquote. At auction after auction, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Belvin can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Yes.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Certainly.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And this fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed. so free and easy on the draw.
Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday night we're broadcasting from San Francisco. Now, don't forget, kids, we want to be there for their big frolic Saturday night.
Mr. Benny, I didn't want to go on such a long trip.
What?
Last time I went to San Francisco, I was on the train for 8 days.
8 days? What are you talking about? You get on the train here at night, and the next morning you get off.
Oh, get off!
Oh, quiet. Good night.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.